At night while I'm sleeping, I can hear the angels speaking, but I can't recall a single thing they said. I see the lips move clearly, I feel the presence near me, but each word they try to tell me just slips through the cracks. I push, I strain, I wrestle with my brain, and then a voice from somewhere whispers to relax. I'll say a word for sickness, she is my favorite mistress. Yes, she knows my body like no other can. My flesh and spirit keep colliding when her fingers are inside me. Oh my God, lady, I'm your man. Fever, flu, malaria, come to me and not spare me. I just want to spend another night under attack. I retch, I shake, I cry until I break, and then I peacefully release, and I relax. Relax! I bang my face against the walls inside this maze, and I've been too good at this kind of thing. I mean, you know, actually I wanted to talk about something. Did everyone have a good Veterans Day?
Yeah!
So I have this thing about the 11th day of the 11th month for some reason, and I was invited to a birthday party in New Orleans, which is the reason I'm on this trip right now. And this is related to this song. About 4 days before leaving, I got an email. The birthday, it was Neil Gaiman just turned 50, and it was, I'll tell him. And a few days before leaving, I got an email from his daughter saying, "Hey, Dad and I are going skydiving on the 11th. Do you want to come?" And I immediately knew two things upon receiving that email, which I kind of hedged and avoided answering for a day and a half. I knew two things very clearly. I knew that I most certainly did not want to jump out of an airplane on November 11th. I'd never knew that about myself because I'd never been asked that question. But upon being asked that question, do you want to jump out of an airplane? The answer was no. The second thing that I knew was, God damn it, I'm probably going to now go jump out of an airplane. And like this. It was kind of like standing in a room that's filling with water, like watching my terror kind of. And when I flew down to New Orleans, I just did my best to not look out the window and think about what it would be like to jump. Actually, there's not a very good point to this story. So I jumped out of an airplane. Bizarrely, with Neil Gaiman in New Orleans on the 11th of November. Has anyone ever done this before? I mean, jumped out of an airplane. Most of you are really reasonable, intelligent people. Why would anyone do that? You're in this perfectly decent working airplane. If the airplane was crashing, but anyway, it was surprisingly relaxing. I mean, once you that actual moment of flinging yourself out of the plane at 10,000 feet above the earth. That feels really counterintuitive. You have. I had this, big kind of hairy guy strapped to me who was supposed to take care of me, and.
Oh yeah.
And then, from past experience, I felt safe. The worst part was not flying up myself. We went at two at a time. There were 6 of us jumping, and we went up 2 at a time. I was in the second plane full of people. And actually being in the airplane and going up wasn't so bad, because I just didn't look out the window much, and I just kind of thought about, I've got to do this tomorrow, and I need to, I just kind of avoided thinking about jumping out of airplanes. But watching the first airplane go up was horrifying. Like, you know, the airplane takes off. I was like, wow, it's a little airplane, like kind of held together by duct tape, really. The best thing was when we pulled up. It was at the Slidell Airport, and we pull up and to the place, and it said, like, the name of the company was something horrible, like Good Skydiving. and then they had this motto that was not actually very assuring. It was like bringing creativity to parachuting. Like there's certain things you don't want creativity brought to, you know? I'd like to just kind of do this the standard, time-honored, working way. Anyway, we pull up, and there's this, you know, tattered sign that says, like, you know, Good Skydiving or something. And in front of the building, there's nobody except this one guy who's in a wheelchair with his leg in this, like, massive system of braces. It was pretty awesome. Luckily, he wasn't the guy that was strapped to my back. So anyway, the point of this story, when actually jumping out of the airplane, it happens very quickly, and you don't have much to do with it. Like, you know, the big guy strapped to you just kind of jumps out, and you're like, my brain was mostly like, well, like there was a certain place I was supposed to stand, and a certain something I was supposed to do with my arms, but he didn't say when you're supposed to do that. I just kind of got flung out of the plane, and my inner monologue was, but wait. It wasn't so much, I wasn't thinking like, oh my God, no. I was like, aren't there some things we should discuss? It was just very rational, like, and my body was like, you know, clumsily like thinking to try to grab onto something. But once you're actually falling, it's very peaceful. I imagine it wouldn't be peaceful if you continued falling and, like, you know, saw the ground getting closer. Then there might have been like a sense of terror. But as it was, you know, there's not really, you don't have anything to compare that with. You know, it's anyway. And when the parachute opens, it's one of the most peaceful things I've ever experienced in my life. Just everything kind of stops, and you're just kind of floating there. It didn't last all that long, but it kind of felt like forever, and it was sort of wonderful. I bang my head blades against the walls inside this maze, never been too good at this damn kind of thing. I'm in here with my father, I'm just waiting, but he's smart, and he's been building a fantastic set of wings. And I got him up and flying with the labyrinth behind me. But I go too high, the sun, there's nothing to do. It burns, and I tumble through the air, and as I fall, I feel myself relax. Letting go. Am I letting go? I must be letting go, and I letting go. Got to let it go, let it go. Am I letting go? Let it go, yes, let it go. I think I let it go. Am I letting go? I think I let it go. Let it go. I think I let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Gotta let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Let go. Let go. Let go. I wake every morning to the sound of motors roaring. It's still drowning out the voices in my head. In the night, while I'm sleeping, I still hear the angels speaking. I can't recall a single thing they said. I see the lips move clearly, feel the presence near, but all that on the fingers don't just sit from the crack. I push, I strain, I wrestle with my brain. I retch, I shake, I cry until I break. It burns, it hurts, I tumble to the earth. Then I fall into myself, relax.